Mortal Kombat! Yes, we are going to review the new Mortal Kombat, and we are going to make sure that this video is going to be a flawless victory. Well, hello everyone, welcome to Pop Culture Vortex. I am your host, Alex Pinto, and yep, Mortal Kombat 2 is out in theaters. I saw it just basically an hour ago. Wow, I cannot wait to talk about this. All right, I am a huge fan of the games. I have the first three games on an arcade set, right? I also do have it on Sega Genesis as well, the first two games at least. I love, say, MK9 and stuff like that, and of course, I love the original movie. Not so much Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That's a yikes. But yeah. So yeah, there was, and of course, look, the first Mortal Kombat, right? Well, at least the 2021 Mortal Kombat, right? I definitely, while it was not the film I would have wanted a Mortal Kombat movie to be, but I thought it was okay. I liked it. Like there were certain moments. I loved Scorpion in that movie. Kano was great, and of course he's great in this movie as well. So yeah, there were things to like about that first Mortal Kombat, but there were a lot of things that were so stupid about that first one, right? Of the reboot. Like, of course, Arcana was stupid, like such lazy writing, just to instead of honestly, there was no reason for something like Arcana to be a thing. I hated that aspect. Like, the fact that instead of having Jax, get his arms, removed and then, giving him metal arms just naturally because they just gave him advanced arms. Instead, it's this Arcana shit, and, that's his power. And, Sonya's laser blast is not through technology, but it's Arcana. I really did not like that. And, of course, the Cole Young character, while I like Louis Tan as an actor, his character was kind of bland and all that, so... And look, the first movie wasn't, critics weren't really a big fan of the first movie, right? And it was a bit divisive among fans. So there was a lot going into this movie, it was very risky making this movie, if anything, because, this movie, if it turned out to being the same thing as the first movie, yeah, no, this movie would have flopped so hard. And we'll see how this movie does in the end, but, yeah, so, going into this movie, I was like, okay, so I went to a bit of low expectations, though I was hearing some good reviews for the movie, right? I believe right now, the movie is sitting at its 60s right now, in Rotten Tomatoes. But yeah, so more critics are liking it. I've been hearing a lot of fans saying that this movie was everything they wanted. So I was like, okay, you know what? That boosted my excitement. And I gotta say, they were right. This movie, just from basically say the first 15 minutes to say, it really tells you, we heard you and we are gonna fix those mistakes. Alright? That's what this movie said in the first 15 minutes. You started off pretty epic with learning Kitana's backstory to sort of establish that hatred she has for Shao Kahn and all that, which, by the way, there will be spoilers in this video, so be warned. From Shao Kahn killing her father and her, basically just wanting vengeance throughout, and I love how they really established that, grudge she has for him. And, of course, I did quite like Jade. I thought Jade could have been used more, but, they did okay with her. And of course, Kano, like I said, Kano was fucking hilarious. He was great. Every line he said in this movie was cracked me up. His dynamic with Johnny Cage was perfect. Now I want to see those two, Johnny and Kano, in a spinoff. I want to see that. That's going to be fucking great. But anyways, of course, I do love the other characters. Of course, Liu Kang, I thought they did better with him in this movie than they did in the first one, considering that the first one, they basically narrowed him down to just one of Raiden's, I don't know, I guess, henchmen or whatever. Yeah, they guess not really henchmen, but, his fighters. But, he was kind of weaker. For instance, he should have put up more with a fight with Sub-Zero in the first movie, but, they just had him get his ass kicked in that. But I like what they did in this one. You really got to see more of his power, how powerful he really is, and how great of a fighter he is in this one. Alright, and I like the actor playing him. Sonya was quite good. I love that they did her a classic, thing with it, like basically, what's that kick called? What's that thing she does with her legs? It's not the bicycle kick, no. Fuck, why am I freezing the name of that? I can't remember. If you guys remember what it's called, please say in the comments. But yeah, like her signature move from the games, that was great to see, especially her fight with Sindel in the spike room. That was fucking great. Like that was really suspenseful. Like considering he's like, oh my god, like, and that's the thing I love about this movie. This movie does not really play it so safe. They really make you feel that any one of these characters can die, especially when, of course, one of the mistakes they do fix is the Cole Young character, who was the main character of the first movie. Here they sideline him, but then when he has his fight with Shao Kahn, he dies. Yeah, and he gets they did him dirty too. Like Shao Kahn smashes his head with the hammer and then just throws him into that pool of chemicals. Which, by the way, the fact they brought back that map from the games, if you know, you know what I mean. Like that was fucking great. I geeked out seeing that. Like just a classic map from the games. That was great. So yeah, that was really good. And of course, Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. Now, when I remember hearing when they casted him, I was like, interesting casting, but I thought he might be too old for this character. But I like the way that they made it work narratively, that he is a washed up actor, right? Who practically is like, nobody cares about him no more. Like, he feels irrelevant to pop culture now, considering his movies are now like dated, like from the 90s and stuff. So yeah, I really like that they played that out so that, it kind of gives him more meaning to the fact that he needs more purpose in his life, right? So that when he finally gets his opportunity, they kind of did a bit of I like they did a bit of a hero's journey kind of story with him, right? Where he's like, he gets a call to adventure, which is, of course, is him being a champion to Mortal Kombat. His refusal is that I don't feel like I'm good enough for this, I'm just an actor, I can't do it, So that was good. Meeting the mentor, I guess, was definitely Raiden, and of course, crossing the threshold when he finally does enter the tournament. So yeah, like I could run down the whole hero's journey thing with him, right? But like, anyways, we'll get to that. So yeah, I really like what they did with him. I thought he cracked a lot of great one-liners. His dynamic with Baraka was hilarious. His fight with Baraka was great too. And all that. Every fight scene he really has in this movie is really handled really well. Especially when he does unlock his Arcana. No matter what, I'm gonna hate it, but even then, it was still satisfying to see him unlock his Arcana in the end. And of course, Scorpion. He is underutilized, but he was great. All right, Scorpion, when he is on screen, Hiroshi Sanada as the character, he's just fucking perfect. In reality, for a guy in his 60s, man, that guy can still pull off a great fight scene. His fight with Noob Saibot was fucking amazing. Like, brutal and everything. Like, it was just, like, that guy just knows what to do when it comes to a good martial arts movie. So, in terms of the fights are definitely better in this movie than they were in the first. Because I felt like the first was a little, like, sometimes the fights were a little kind of, like, too slow in a way. Like, for sure, Scorpion had some really good fight scenes, but, like, I feel like the fight scenes were a little too cut too as well, right? So, like, I felt like they could have done better filming, and, like, sometimes even, like, the punches don't land so well in that first one. This movie definitely improves that. I thought the fights were fucking awesome, right? Like, look, this movie is not Shakespeare. You're gonna get some dumb, fun action, and this movie definitely is that. You will have a great time watching Mortal Kombat 2. Honestly, watching, I was like, why wasn't this the first movie they came out with? Like, this should have been the first Mortal Kombat. This was a great way to start the franchise. In a way, that's kind of like their intent. It was like, you know what? Let's just kind of use this to kind of, not really reboot, but like, let's make this be the movie to be like the one that starts the story, from the tournament and stuff, right? Because like the first movie was kind of like, in a way, Lewis 10 explained that the first movie is kind of like almost a prequel, I guess an unintentional prequel, if you will. And I kind of agree with that, So that's how I feel. Like this movie is definitely really, like, it's not a masterpiece. It's not going to be a best movie of the year, but like it's a lot of fun. If you go to the theaters to watch this, you will have a blast. Now, what are things I don't like about this movie? Well, let me just say, the Revenants are underutilized. Like Kung Lao is already an underutilized character from the first movie, So for them to just bring him back only for him to die just all over again was kind of like, okay, fine. But although his fight scene with Liu Kang was amazing and definitely the most visually striking scene out of the whole entire movie. That was great. Hang on. Oh, sorry. Okay, and that fight was great. And Liu Kang in reality, like I really did like what they did with him. It was interesting that they didn't do the whole chosen one thing with him, right? Like they do, like most Mortal Kombat content does, right? Especially the original movie. So that was interesting. They didn't do that. But yeah. And what else could I say? In terms of flaws, Noob was underutilized. I'm pretty sure he didn't even have like one or two lines maybe in the movie. I really thought they should have done more with him rather than just like he Bihan his back and then all of a sudden, and he was just basically there just have an epic fight with Scorpion. And while the fight is epic, I wish they had done more with that. And that's also another thing. By underutilizing Scorpion, you underutilize Noob. It's like, yeah, no, and that's I think that's one problem this movie really does have. Is like, it does have, and really, that's expected in a Mortal Kombat movie, right? Mortal Kombat, you're just filled with all these major characters that are so beloved, and when you try to cram in as much as possible in one movie, yeah, it's like you're expecting that you're gonna see certain characters not get as much moments, you know, and you really feel that in this movie, So like, Noob was underutilized, Scorpion was underutilized. I did not like what they did with Quan Chi, that he was just some basic necromancer, and like, I'm pretty sure he does have one fight scene, but like really they don't do much with him, honestly. And Shang Tsung was like, look, he wasn't even all that great in the first movie. He was just like, I'm the bad guy, and really that's it. Like they didn't really give him much of a motivation or like really a sense of like he's just pretty much there to be like, I'm the bad guy. I'm here to suck his souls. That's really it. He's very one dimensional. And this movie, he pops in here and there to like say, oh yeah, I'm still in the part of this franchise, and you pretty much forget about him. You know, like you pretty much forget he's even in this movie. So like when he does pop in, it's like, oh yeah, you're still here, buddy. Okay. And of course the what is it? Like of course Shinnok's amulet, or whatever. I thought this movie story wise was definitely much better than the first. You know, and if I had to say also, I think what this movie doesn't have that the original movie does have, like the '90s movie, is that this movie lacks character dynamics. Well, yeah, I love the dynamic between Baraka and Johnny Cage. Of course, that's a very small part, but like, I feel like we could have had more of, like, let's say, like, you see, one of the things I love about the original movie is that now the original movie is not Shakespeare too, right? Like, like it's not a masterpiece, but I love the movie overall. But like, it's the dynamic between that trio, which is Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, and Sonya, and of course, even the dynamic they have with Raiden. That's what makes that movie magical. Like that's the magic and that's the heart and soul of that first movie is that dynamic with these characters. And I feel like just even from these two movies, it still lacks it. Like I feel like yeah, they interact here and there and like some of their interactions are quite good, but like I don't feel their dynamic quite yet. I really hope that in Mortal Kombat 3 we see more. And they really do convince me of that. You know? So yeah, like that's really what I have against this movie. Sorry, is that like, and of course, like the original movie, I get it. Like the original movie was basically just focused on those characters, right? This movie had like so many more, right? But like, that's really what it is, right? I think we need more of that dynamic, and I hope that Mortal Kombat 3 really does improve on that. So yeah, that's really what I have in terms of flaws. And what else? I think I wrote one down. Let's see. Also, I get why they did it, putting Ed Boon's voice, which by the way, Ed Boon does have a cameo in this movie. It was quite funny to see that. But using Ed Boon's voice for "Get over here," like I get why they did it. for fan service and nostalgia, but I would have preferred if they did Hiroyoshi Sanada's voice instead, like they did in the first movie. I thought it was just fine. It was quite badass. I wish they did that instead, but I can see why they did it. I get it. So yeah, what else did I want to say? I didn't have notes here. Oh yeah, I also will say this. Like I said, I hate Arcana. Okay, I really do not like it. And well, yes, you can clearly tell they were avoiding as much as possible to even say that word. Okay, just for the sake of like, okay, guys, just let's try to like make sure the fans forget about it as they watch. I haven't forgot about Arcana. Okay, and it's very much there. Like Johnny Cage unlocks his Arcana at the end of the movie, even if they don't say it's Arcana, whatever. I still hate it. I wish they never did that. It was such lazy writing, and that's really, and like I believe it's the same director doing it too. So like this one is definitely like I really like that he's improving now. Like he really is improving on his directing abilities, right? And I thought this movie was definitely better handled. And like I said, this should have been the movie they should have started with instead of that first movie. So yeah, is it as good as the original? No, but is it still? I think I would probably say this is probably my second favorite Mortal Kombat movie. I would say that I enjoyed myself. Like I was at the edge of my seat throughout the movie. It was so satisfying. The fight scenes are great. The characters, some great characters. Also, I do like Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn was handled really well. I thought his design looked pretty cool. He was quite menacing. And also for anybody complaining about Kitana being the one to defeat Shao Kahn, and also saying that's all woke stuff. Look, this is coming even from the games. Nobody has more of a grudge with Shao Kahn than Kitana. Okay? From a narrative perspective, it works. Especially the way they establish that from the beginning of the movie. Okay? Nobody has more of a motivation to go over there to just completely wreck Shao Kahn than Kitana. Considering that she practically got forced to be his daughter. So yeah, I was okay with them having Kitana killing Shao Kahn. Alright? And it's not because of woke, it works from a narrative perspective. So there's that. But anyways, that's how I feel about Mortal Kombat 2. Like I said, this is definitely ranked number 2 in terms of best Mortal Kombat movie. That's how I feel. Alright, so anyways, guys, question is, what did you think of Mortal Kombat 2? Did you like the movie? Do you think it was an improvement over the first movie? I feel like most of you do feel that way. Alright, please tell me in the comment section, what were your favorite parts of this movie? Alright, did it live up to you gamers, out there? Are you guys going to start playing Mortal Kombat after seeing this movie? I certainly will. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. I sure hope that you liked this video. And if you did, hit that like button. And if you want to see more content, hit that subscribe button. Alright? Hope you all have a good day and finish it.